Well, we finally come to the finale of these trilogy of videos, and I know I was supposed to get this out 2 months ago. Shut up, I already know. But this time we get to my favorite movies from 2018 to 2023, and we'll look ahead to this year to see what will possibly be the best one of this year. And if you want to see what the rest of them have been from 2003 to 2017, I already have 2 videos that cut that in half, 2003 to 2010, and 2011 to 2017. So without wasting any time, let's get right into it. This film is my generation's Empire Strikes Back. There was a time when it was thought that putting all of these characters together in one movie would have been impossible, or at least would have been a cluttered mess. But the MCU pulled it off spectacularly, giving a ton of movies, almost 20 films, to building up all these characters and all these relationships between them in order to get to the big bad of Thanos. And people have largely said that this is really the Thanos movie, and I would actually largely agree, as he does have the most screen time in the film. And he's also a very, I wouldn't say relatable villain, but he's a very understandable villain, as he believes what he's doing is right, even if his methods are wrong. You want to be on his side if he had the right means to go about it. And not as many characters get permanently killed off as people would have thought. We did have ones like Loki, Heimdall, and Vision. And I know there were some people that thought the snap was, well, shall I say, inevitable in this film, but it really took me by surprise when I saw this film in the theaters. This was probably one of the most shocking endings to a film we've ever had since, well, Empire Strikes Back, and it was a perfect setup for the finale.
Whatever it takes.
And speaking of that finale, Avengers Endgame is probably my favorite movie of all time for one specific reason. This was the movie I have possibly been the most hyped for ever, even more so than The Force Awakens, because I had been invested in this franchise for about a decade at this point, and seeing everything come together, finishing off the Infinity Saga in this fashion, was just a perfect finale. I don't care if people don't think it's a perfect movie or people bitch about the time travel. This was still a perfect finale, whether or not you want to call it a perfect film. Although, even if I will say, 2019 was kind of a shit year anyway, so even if I didn't think this was a perfect film and it wasn't one of my favorites, if not my favorite of all time, it didn't have much competition. I mean, second place was the Aladdin remake, so there you go, even though I did like that film. But there is just so much that was personal to me. Like, this is not made for a casual viewer. This was made for Marvel fans. And it definitely worked out, considering it is the highest grossing film of all time. And Avatar's 5 re-releases don't count. So this is still the highest grossing film of all time.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, I feel like Tom Cruise.
2020, the year I started doing reviews. And what a shit year of cinema it was. We had so many, all the good movies got delayed years and years, so we were left with kind of the scraps, really, for the good movies. But this is definitely my kind of film. It's fun, it's action-packed, it's got good acting, it's got decent enough special effects for the low budget that it had, and that's all I ask out of film nowadays, is just to be fun. You don't have to be some deep commentary, or you don't have to have some deep message to your film. Just entertain me for 2 hours. That's all I ask out of film, and so many movies in 2020 couldn't handle that. 2020 had some of the worst movies we've ever seen. Well, At least at the time, it's been largely surpassed by the last few years, but Love and Monsters just seemed to hit the right spot for me at the right time, and I didn't review this one because I saw it after it came out on DVD, so it was like 2 months late, but yeah, this was just a fun movie, and that was all I wanted out of 2020 and couldn't get.
Is this what you wanted?
While tons and tons of people bitched and whined about Phase 4, I really enjoyed most of Phase 4. Except for Thor Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, and Ms. Marvel. But this one just seemed... I don't know what it is about this one, because the other four that came out in 2021, I still really enjoyed. I liked Black Widow. I liked Eternals. I don't care what anybody else says. I liked Eternals. And Spider-Man No Way Home was freaking awesome. And most people would probably argue that was the best one of this year, at least the best comic book film. But I don't know what it is. I just seem to like Shang-Chi a bit more. I liked the story. I liked the characters. The action sequences were way better than all of the other ones that came out that year. And it's probably some of the most creative action sequences we've gotten out of the MCU. I liked how they used the martial arts combined with these powers that he got. I don't remember the word I was looking for. And I like how it kind of fixes the Mandarin problem, which was really my biggest problem with Iron Man 3. And they seem to fix it without going full retcon. And I really appreciated that. Really, the only thing that dragged this down was the presence of Awkwafina, but at least this movie knew when to shut her up.
Espresso.
Probably the biggest surprise success of the last 25 years outside of Guardians of the Galaxy and Into the Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish came out of nowhere and has largely been regarded as one of the best animated films of the 21st century. And this is coming off a movie that was fine enough and came out over a decade ago and did very mediocre at the box office and has largely been forgotten. And when I saw the trailers for this, it just looked like another cash grab sequel that I didn't really give a shit about. But holy hell was I wrong. This is probably one of my favorite animated films that we've gotten in a damn long time. And that says a lot considering DreamWorks these last couple years, when I thought this was supposed to be a new renaissance for DreamWorks, has been very disappointing, especially when it came to Kung Fu Panda 4 a few months ago, or a month ago, actually. I don't know how... Talk about hitting lightning in a bottle, or catching lightning in a bottle. How the hell did this just come out of nowhere and be this good? A sequel to Puss in Boots should not be this good. This is the kind of sequel you want. Again, it's like an Empire Strikes Back. Instead of just rehashing the same bullshit they did with the first movie, they evolved the character. They made new villains who were very much intimidating and relatable in their own right. His relationship, I guess you could put it, was Kitty Softpaws, was done fairly well, and I like the addition of Perito. Yeah, that's it. There's literally nothing to complain about with this movie. It just astonishes me how this movie just came out of nowhere and was this good. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. I had Sound of Freedom as number 1 of 2023. So why is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 here? Well, I'll tell ya. Sound of Freedom was the best movie of 2023, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was easily my favorite. It astonishes me how the MCU always makes their third films a contender for the best. Iron Man 3, very underrated. Civil War, easily the best Captain America film. Infinity War, the best of the first 3, I will say, even though I thought Endgame obviously surpassed it. Thor Ragnarok, easily the best one. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I'd say this is probably second best, but that's comparing it to the first Guardians of the freaking Galaxy movie. Oh yeah, and Spider-Man No Way Home is easily the best of those as well. Again, this is another sequel that evolves the characters and doesn't just do the same bullshit over and over again. Each character has at least a miniature arc throughout the film. And again, this is just a movie that's fun. There's no political agenda shoved in my face. There's no political commentary that annoys the fuck out of me. There's no woke trash shoved into this movie. It's just a movie here to entertain me for 2 hours, and that's all I fucking ask.
You don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Looking ahead this year, I feel very confident in claiming Deadpool and Wolverine will be my favorite movie of 2024. Although then again, I did think Kung Fu Panda 4 would be the second best movie of the year, and that was garbage, but I have a little more faith in this one than I did Kung Fu Panda 4. The teaser trailer that we got at the Super Bowl was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine and seeing him interact with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is always welcome to see on screen. The second movie was kind of a disappointment, but the first movie is still one of my favorite comic book films of all time, and we have Sean Levy in the director's chair who helmed Free Guy, which isn't as good as I remember, but was still a fun enough Ryan Reynolds film, and he also directed The Adam Project, which again was, I gave way too much praise, but was still another decent, fun Ryan Reynolds project. So I trust him to at least make a decent follow-up. If anything, this has to be better than the second movie. Right? Well, there you have it. Every single year that I've been alive and my favorite movie of each year. I'm not gonna go over each one that I already have been. Maybe I'll do a ranking of all 22 of these now. Yeah, maybe I'll do a ranking of all of them at some point. Let me know if you want to see that. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all next time. Bye.